May what I'm about to say be seen as educational content and not an attack on anybody I may duet stitch or comment on. And this is off the back of this discussion I had. And it was somebody, white presenting, who said that he was having a conversation with somebody who was indigenous, and they had a mistrust of white people. And it has been said by people of today who are white presenting, you can't blame us for the things that happened yesterday. It wasn't us. Here's the other side of that. And note, this is to inform, not to shame. So if you get in your feels, I know what side of the conversation you're coming from. Here's the information. So, here are some things that have an impact on people of the black diaspora in this case, and how it affects us not just mentally but physically as well. So, constant things coming to us: violence, chronic stress, example slavery, segregation, discrimination, can alter gene expression without changing the DNA sequence, potentially passing down increased stress reactivity to descendants. Biological impact of racism. Chronic exposure to racial discrimination and adversity gets under the skin, so to speak, altering gene expression related to stress, immunity and behavior. Now note, these are visual aids for you. The information is already in here. I use visual aids to show you the impact so you can see it for yourself and find it and use multiple sources. And at times when I've spoken about this in the past, people say, oh, but where's your sources? There are multiple sources. I mentioned Dr. Joy DeGroy, and I mentioned her book, PTSS. I mentioned books like The Delectable Negro. And there are multiple medias you can use. These are visual aids so that you can see for yourself the information that I have in here. Let's continue. Cultural PTSD, or the aforementioned PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. The collective trauma from experiences like slavery can manifest as a form of cultural PTSD, causing high stress levels and impacting mental health across generations. Studies suggest trauma can cause changes in DNA, methylation patterns, a mechanism that influences how genes are turned on and off that can be passed down to offspring. Continued exposure to discrimination, poverty and environmental stresses in contemporary society continues to affect the health and gene expression of the current generation. So as you can see, what you talk about as the thing of the past and leave it in the past is not true. Because as we continue to see the stresses and strains of life that is inflicted upon us, things like George Floyd, things like Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, is still inflicting upon us today. Can't walk the streets without thinking we're going to be searched, we're going to be looked at, we're going to be attacked. These influences are still with us today. It is not a thing of the past. Let's continue. Recognizing and acknowledging the impact of historical and ongoing systemic trauma is the first step in addressing the root causes. Hello, heretic. Providing care, improving access to trauma-informed care and mental health resources within Black communities is crucial. Creating safe environments to discuss and address the impact of these experiences is necessary for future well-being. This is where I come in. I'm a lead in health and social care with merit. I'm a recovery practitioner with well over 6 years' experiences of dealing with people, Black and global majority men, with the impact of trauma and their experiences, their psychosocial environments, which is their individual stories, and impact on how it's affected their mental health, their emotional health and well-being. I also am a lead facilitator of safe spaces that I've just spoken about. Men can get together, express their feelings, express their emotions, learn to access their emotional intelligence, and be invited to take part in things like individual therapeutic counselling. These spaces are seen as group counselling or group therapy, using the psychological sound theory of change, which is saying that you can start off identifying a base point, and through creating these therapeutic spaces and taking on the information that you share in these spaces, you can change. You can learn to deal with life's pitfalls. You can learn to identify in yourself, building up an emotional intelligence, understanding when you need to show your vulnerabilities. And I am now a trainee therapist, so I can conduct more in these spaces, safe spaces, because there needs to be more men and women of colour who are the therapists, the professionals. We can't just be seen as the service users. We have to aspire to be the professionals, not rap stars, not sports stars, not entertainers, but there to inform, educate, and provide community safe spaces and therapeutic spaces for our people. Professor Outcast Moriarty has spoken, but will speak again.